Confessions of a Menopausal Woman. I love it. Because, you know, we've talked about that a lot on this show as well.
Yeah, of course.
And it's kind of, it's really good because it's actually got people talking about this.
Yes.
Whereas before it was like the thing that shall never be mentioned.
Totally. I mean, that was what started the whole journey
Yes.
of the book, was the fact that I mentioned it on air really reluctantly because I went to have a hysterectomy and I thought, I'm not going to mention it. It means going headlong into menopause. We work in this industry. Everyone will think you're old. And within 24 hours, 10,000 women got in touch wanting to know information. So that was what led to the book. And I called it Confessions of a Menopausal Woman because I thought the only way to get a conversation started is to be really honest.
Absolutely.
And really open.
Of course.
What's so brilliant about this is obviously I released the hardback last year. When you release a hardback, you write it with all your heart, you put it out into the wild and hope that it goes well. With a paperback, what that means is you've been getting all the feedback. You know that people are enjoying it, and it gives you a sort of fresh opportunity to talk about the fact that this covers everything that half the population of the entire planet are going through, and yet, but a few years ago, no one was talking about it.
No, very reluctant. Look, you're just back from the Himalayas.
I am.
For goodness sake.
I was thinking about you so much when we were out there because, of course, we did that insane trek.
We did for
in the
comic
KZU
relief.
desert
Yeah, that's
for
right.
comic relief, and
I know.
and I was remembering how we got lost in the first hour.
We did get lost in
How
the first
did we do
hour.
that?
I don't know, and I was nonplussed.
Yeah, you said I'm a wee bit nonplussed now, and I remember thinking, oh my God, Lorraine's nonplussed. This is really serious. but that is the part of these big challenges,
Oh, it's an
aren't they?
amazing thing to do.
There's always a bit of a life and death moment.
Yeah, because you were scared. You were dialing.
I was really, really, really scared on this trip because I have vertigo. And I kind of, when I was looking on Google Maps of the trek, the Dalai Lama trek, there was big, wide, paths. But actually, when I was on it, there's quite a bit of that. And then we had this very long coach journey, 12, 13 hours back down the Himalayas. And a lot of us were, like, praying and holding on to each other through that
would
trip.
be scary.
It was very, very scary.
But thank goodness you're here. And what a great cause, of course, for breast cancer.
For
and our
Copperfield.
lovely Helen was here.
Oh, your lovely Helen heads
Helen
up your
Addis.
fantastic Changing Check campaign and the boob bus.
There she is.
We are friends for life. Yeah,
you do,
incredible.
honestly, you bond so much on something like this, don't you? You really do. And you do make friends for life. You're absolutely right. You really
There's
are.
moments when you just think that you've got nothing left. And, like, one day I actually felt like I was giving birth to the mountain. That's why I had to go into birth. And, you know, my amazing team, somebody would give you a sip of water or a sweet or under your buttocks and shove them up. You know, whatever I needed, it was there.
Absolutely, it's that real team effort. And Copperfield's such a great charity.
It is.
Amazing work. One of the things that you did was the whole kind of body stories thing.
Oh, yeah, I love doing that.
Because I am so passionate about the fact that we shouldn't be airbrushing and doing all this. And you guys, look at that picture. You're all absolutely beautiful. You look amazing.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm wearing a really nice swimsuit that I made them buy for me, and the other's got the hump a bit. And also, I didn't change at the studio. I changed at the photographer's studio. I changed in the dressing room.
Right.
And then I went there and I had my swimsuit on under my jeans and my T-shirt. And I also didn't tell them that I knew the photographer, Brian Adams, quite well. So I just went in the studio, dropped my jeans and got on with it. And he went, oh, hi, Janet.
And it was all fine. But it looks great. And you
No,
look
it was
happy.
good fun.
That's the thing about, you know, inner confidence and being happy. One thing you're not that keen on, though, is Halloween.
I'm not a big fan of Halloween.
Not a big fan of Halloween, no. So the kids, if they go to your door, it's not going to happen.
Oh. Halloween last year, I had so many people outside my house. I was shouting through the letterbox, go away! Go away!
Geez.
They go, we know. Oh, no, what's that?
Who could that be now?
I'm on red alert.
Oh, look, there's a couple of wee Halloween trick-or-treaters.
No, thanks.
That's
Cheerio.
it. Sorry, guys.
Cheerio, goodbye.
It's not going to happen. I'll give you some... I've got some sweeties for you.
Is that what you have to do? Give sweets?
You have to give sweeties.
Yeah, and I think also, Lorraine, you know, I'm 50 next year, and I just think women my age, we have a routine. We've got kids, we're married, we work, and it's just eat, sleep, repeat, isn't it?
And you're at the bottom of the pile.
And you're at the bottom of the pile.
The bottom of a very long list.
Exactly. So to learn a new skill at this time of my life, I didn't think I could do it, but I've embraced it and I'm loving it. And I just wanted to be the representative of women to say, girls, you know what? You can do it. It doesn't matter. It might take you a bit longer, but you can get
but, you know, can have fun doing something really new.
Absolutely.
Don't give up. Have
and it
fun.
kind of, you know, you were saying you've got your mojo back. You've got your, you feel sexier. You feel better. You feel more confident, I guess.
Well, I think it's because you're exercising, so you've got all those happy hormones floating around, and you know. I sort of said this to Mark, and Mark's not embarrassed about me saying this, but, you know, when you've got a young man, he's got his arms around you, you look into his eyes, he's holding your hand, he's there if you fall. And it made me go back and think, it's the little things in life, in a marriage, that disappear, that actually bring your mojo back. The holding hands, the...
Kissing.
The kissing. Well, I haven't kissed Mark, but, you know, that...
No, I know.
But looking into your eyes and just, you know, are you OK, darling? Would you... It's that goes in a marriage, because you're in this rat race, aren't you, every day?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's just made me realise, actually, that, you know, the attention that you give each other is really important in a marriage.
Now, anybody looking at you would have thought, charmed life, perfect, you've never been... But it was horrible, and it's that horrible thing, isn't it, Andrea, that kids will pick on somebody just because they're a wee bit different.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that I was so keen to get behind this, obviously, anything to do with anti-bullying, I think any parent, it sort of rises the blood, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I was asked to do a film in conjunction with the Diana Award, which is the little film that you saw earlier. And what was so interesting was, obviously, this happened to me when I was sort of 15, 16, that sort of age.
Why do you think they picked on you?
It was twofold. I was new at the school, obviously, at the beginning, a few years previously. I arrived from the Caribbean with, you know, looking like that. Well, it was the 80s, just to justify the perm and the eyebrows. So I spoke with a very strong Caribbean accent. But how it actually started was these girls were very, very viciously picking on another girl in the school. She was quite a vulnerable girl. She was very defenceless. And all I did was walk over and say, "What are you doing? Leave her alone."
Good for you.
And literally they all went, "OK, now it's your turn."
You're the target now.
And that was for 2 years.
Do you know what worries me? We talk about bullying at school and then we think it goes away, and it doesn't, because people that are bullies at school go on to be bullies in the workplace or outside and all of that, and it's absolutely horrible. And as you said, it does stay with you.
Yeah.
It really does. We're getting an awful lot better, though, because at least we talk about it now. We didn't talk about it back when we were wee.
Yeah, and I tried to raise it a few times, actually, at the school, and they didn't have a system in place, so really nothing was done. And what is fascinating is I've gone through my whole life. Now, you'd think that my thought process would be, clearly, if you see someone being picked on, walk away, because it will happen to you. Absolutely not. If I see somebody being picked on now, the blood still rises and I will still jump in feet first and help them. And again, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it today was I have 2 kids at secondary school now.
Yes.
And it's so important that kids understand that you can talk to someone. There's so much on websites now giving you advice. Even if you just type in, "Is this bullying?" Because a lot of the time it's so insidious and so small. People think, "Well, I've not been whacked round the head, so that's not bullying." Bullying can take many insidious forms,
especially
social media.
Social media, you've hit the nail on the head there, because I mean, at least when we were at school and you had a bad time, it stopped when you got home. You got through your door to your mum, to your dad, and you know it was like my sanctuary. Now, of course, they can get you on that phone. You've been very open about the fact that you know you're divorced, but the both of you are friends.
Yeah,
still.
really good friends.
But when something like that happens to you, a big life-changing thing, a lot of women will cut their hair. Or change the colour of their hair, change their wardrobe, change their job, do something new, a challenge, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're challenging yourself, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, I am challenging myself, and also because I've gone through that stage of my kids are grown up now, need me a little bit. You know, you feel a bit redundant, and I think the easiest thing is to sit there and go, "Oh, that's me done," and I want to kind of go, "It's not me done. I can now do more because I don't have to have that mum guilt of leaving my kids."
I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Do you feel ready, or do you think you'll ever feel ready to get out there again and date again? Do you think does it fill you with horror a little bit?
It doesn't fill me with horror. It just fills me with, I'm mortified. I'm blushing now. The thought turns me into a 12-year-old again.
Gosh, I don't know
I don't know how to do it.
No, how do you start? What do you do?
No.
And that whole thing of what's your favourite colour? What bands do you like?
And then pretending you like them as well. And inside thinking, no, I've never heard of them.
All of that.
So no, at the moment, the only thing I've done, I haven't changed my hair. I certainly haven't lost weight, but I just keep buying animals. So it's fine.
Have you got a menagerie?
I've literally got a very small zoo.
But I also like the fact that, you know, sometimes we've all been victim of this, you know, like maybe it's online trolling, or maybe it's one of these weekly magazines, these weekly women's magazines who put the most horrific picture of you on the front. They've done it to you, they've done it to me, they've done it to all of us. But you called them out. You said, "No, I'm not having this." And I loved that. I thought that was brilliant.
But you do it as well, Lorraine. I'm always inspired by people like you, by people around me, because I think a lot of these publications rely on the fear that if we do call them out, they might be horrible to us forever, indefinitely.
What more can they do, you know?
Exactly. You do get to a point, don't you, where you go, you know what?
Whatever.
I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to call it what it is. I'm going to say how I feel about it, and that's a reaction. But it's always because of people like you and other women in the industry and other women in general who call out things that shouldn't be happening.
And it's horrible, and it's not. And you know what? It's why I remember. You know, I go to exercise classes. They're so funny, just dance aerobics, and it's great fun with Maxine. It's brilliant. And I always put a picture of us afterwards because there we are, hot, sweaty, and all of that, because that's what you look like when you exercise.
Yeah.
And I remember somebody being hot. It was a journalist that was interviewing me. She was horrified. She said, "Why do you do that?" And I said, "Well, that's what we look like. That's the reality."
But isn't it funny that we're horrified? If it was the man sweating at the gym, and I know that sounds weird, but we would go, "Oh, hello." Yeah, why are we horrified by us? What have we done wrong? I say this about shaving, Lorraine. We did an experiment on Loose Women where they asked me not to shave. They didn't have to ask me very much because I don't anyway that much. And people were horrified by female leg hair. People were literally like, "Put it away, it's disgusting, it's awful."
That's nuts.
But it is funny.
This was
so
silly.
horrified that I watched a razor advert the other day and the woman doesn't have any hairs. She's shaving a smooth leg. I mean, who needs to shave a smooth leg?
Now, look, are you on the swimming today?
I am.
Oh, that's good. So you're all set. You're all done.
I'm ready. I'm gorgeous already.
So you were on the very, very first episode of this, weren't you?
I was 20 years ago, and I remember that when I went for
Look exactly the blinking scene.
Oh,
girl.
I wish.
You do?
I wish. But I remember going for the audition and Kay Adams was there and Jay Moore, and I thought, oh, blimey, they're all a bit posh. They're all a bit clever. They were reading the Times, you know. And so I got offered the job. Helen Warner offered me the job, and 3 times I turned it down. I'd just come out of EastEnders and said, oh, I won't be able to do it. I'll be rubbish. I can't do that. And she kept insisting. Thank God she did, because I love it so much. And I've loved it over all these years. I've come in and I've come out of it. And my favourite thing in the whole world is talking to other women. Oh, my God, the funniest clip.
And the laugh that you guys have.
Yeah.
You have such good fun. And like all friends, you have disagreements, and that's OK.
We do. We have disagreements.
And that's all right.
We have ferocious ones sometimes. But, yeah, we are... Isn't that the amazing thing about female friendship? That you can talk about everything. And this is the friendships that have lasted over 20 years. And sometimes we'll have really heated debates and people are like, oh, my God, how was that afterwards in the break? We literally forget it. We move on.
Of course.
So, yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Oh, it's fantastic. Thank goodness that you said yes.
Yes!
You're saying it's good. So, like I said, you're going to be on later on Loose Women. And, of course, the cookery show continues.
Yes, 11:30 on Sunday. Please watch, because I'm so excited about it. If you guys don't watch, they won't get me to do it again.
I think they might get you to do it again.
I don't want to do it again.
I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be fine. And you've got so many recipes in that busy head. There's so many to come.
Yeah.
And the fact that even I could do it. Even I could do it.
Even you.